Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I am Gregory McBurney. Let's take a look at the headlines. Planning and Sustainable Development Minister praises CCI at exhibition of 2012 Idea to Innovation Program. Dr. Anil Kokaram, Professor Clement Sankat, and Dr. Wayne Frederick among 17 Trinidad and Tobago scientists honored at Nehurst Icons in Science and Technology. And close to 300,000 residents to benefit from the launch of the Caroni South Trunk Main Dual-Link Project, courtesy WASA. The Council for Competitiveness and Innovation, or CCI, has come in for much praise from Line Minister Dr. The Honourable Boinvidat Tiwari. The Minister of Planning and Sustainable Development, at an exhibition of work of recipients of the 2012 Idea to Innovation Program, noted the contribution that the CCI has been making to the economy through its entrepreneurial initiatives.
When this government came into office in 2010, there was no Council for Innovation and Competitiveness. That was a concept that was part of a commitment to the country that became real in 2011. The minister at the time asked me to be the first chairman of that Council for Competitiveness. The second thing is that there was no innovation facility, financing facility in 2010. It was created in 2011. And in 2011, it was not used at all because we couldn't find the means to allow the money to be used in a constructive way.
Minister Tiwari praised the CCI for its efforts in getting participants for the program, especially in a culture he described as being afraid to share ideas publicly.
You create the conditions for the competition for people to enter their idea. But that in itself was not easy. This culture is so afraid of sharing ideas. People are very afraid that if you put forward an idea, it will be stolen. And it took some convincing for people to understand that once you made your idea public, in the public sphere, you have already claimed ownership. And therefore, if it was open to a competitive situation, then the chances of somebody simply stealing your idea and running away with it was quite remote. And in the second round of the Idea to Innovation competition, what happened is that we got more people to become interested than we did in the year before.
Minister Tiwari said even as government is focused heavily on further development of the energy sector, diversification of the economy has not been pushed aside, as is evident in the creation of the CCI. Felicia Wilson-Mon, News 4.
Kariri hosted the World Association of Industrial and Technological Research Organizations, or WATRO, this week. The company, which falls under the Ministry of Planning and Sustainable Development, saw the coming together of many minds in the innovative sector that are members of WATRO, which focused on bridging the gaps among technology, creativity, and innovation.
Trinidad and Tobago played host to WATRO, World Association of Industrial and Technological Research Organization Conference this year, inviting several key players and experts in the area of developing innovation and creativity through public-private partnerships. WATRO promotes and encourages cooperation among industrial and technological research and development organizations, RTOs. It was founded under the auspices of the United Nations system and has consultative status with many specialized agencies. The association currently has 157 members in 74 countries and cooperates with over 500 other institutes and international agencies worldwide. While the conference brings together members of WATRO, Chief Executive Officer at Kariri, Lakwait Ali Shah, explained the aim of the conference and plenary sessions as brainstorming and finding new and innovative ways targeted at enhancing nationwide development.
What is involved here is specifically to be able to what's happening like now and what is happening to the seminar, to tap the experiences of all these organizations through their representatives and by chain reaction, their senior people within those organizations. That's one. But tap it in a combination of participation from both public and private sector in Trinidad. And to demonstrate to that public-private sector group of participants models that are working, have worked, so that we don't necessarily have to go to reinventing the wheel. We have a group of people here and many more in the Waitrose family willing to meet, willing to share, willing to collaborate. And we can advance, if we have a common purpose, our objectives of sustainable growth and development.
The conference is geared towards highlighting the commercial benefits derived from innovation. One of the areas includes adding value to technology through the creation of new applicable products. Jim Stoker, coordinator at Transfer Technology Network National Scientific and Technical Research Council based in Argentina, underscored how this has worked in his country, comparing it to the development taking place within the tertiary education sector and small business development here in Trinidad and Tobago.
Argentina has its own National Plan 2020. It was elaborated by the Ministry of Science and Technology. And another thing I could be proud of is that the creation of the Ministry of Science and Technology. It was in 2007. Before that, it doesn't exist. It was only a secretary. And that implies a political willing about science and technology and the role of science and technology in the productive sector.
Here in TNT, Kariri has been charged with oversight in developing this type of innovation through the recently opened business incubation centers, which offers the opportunity to study and research the feasibility of entrepreneurial ideas. Chairman at Kariri, Hayden Ferreira, adding to discussion, says Trinidad and Tobago is well poised for advancing this type of business innovation.
There's no perfect plan, and you're better off having a plan that you put into action than taking several years more to get to some notion of a better plan. You can always change your plan along the way. If you don't start it, then you have nothing to change. And for the countries that are longer at it than we have been now, I think that comes out very clearly. I guess that time frame is also the other thing that strikes me really clearly in the discussions. How long it really takes to get true benefits from what we're talking about. We are really at it for a very short time. Thankfully, we are at it, and we have right now quite good plans in place, laid down, and moving on them.
Waitrose facilitates international linkages and high-level networking that companies and governments need in order to put their organizations and economies on the cutting edge. Kimberam Calawan, News 4.
More news after this. The Water and Sewage Authority, WASA, has begun work on a project which will see almost 300,000 people benefit from a more reliable daily supply of water. Present to celebrate the launch was Minister of the Environment and Water Resources, Senator the Honorable Ganga Singh. Minister Singh says the project, which is expected to be completed in less than a year, will ensure there is a constant and reliable supply of water to Central and South Trinidad. He also expresses relief that one of the country's largest industrial developments will no longer be affected by water shortages.
This new project will span 40 kilometers of 44-inch and 36-inch ductile iron mains, spanning from the Caroni Water Treatment Plant to the San Fernando Booster. This project, as indicated by Mr. Ricky Ramkisoon, project manager, is expected to be completed within 9 months at an estimated cost of over $300 million. This project will improve the reliability and security of service to an estimated 275,000 residents in Central and South Trinidad. So we are now in a position, and we will be in a position, to provide that backup in the South and Central area, and more so for to us to also guarantee supply to the industries at Point Lisas, which is part of our contractual obligation.
The Environment and Water Resources Minister commends WASA for the numerous projects which have been completed in the last 3.5 years.
From Cedras to Toko, from Bacolet to Charlottesville, we have projects, 789 pipeline projects throughout Trinidad and Tobago, equating to 620.3 kilometers of water mains being installed at a cost of $766.7 million. $766.7 million. In addition, 34 capital projects, which include the installation of 4 packaged water treatment plants, the upgrade of 12 water treatment plants, the drilling of 8 new wells as sources of water, the refurbishment and upgrade of boosters, intakes, and reservoirs. These capital works have been completed at a cost of over $108 million. So together, through a sum of over $875 million has been expended in these projects, and over 308,000 residents have benefited.
Minister Singh believes the significant milestones achieved by WASA is evidence of the government's mandate to serve the people.
In 2010, we inherited in Trinidad 18% of the population having a 24/7 water supply. At the end of February 2014, 57% of WASA customers in Trinidad now have a 24/7 water supply, a significant increase and milestone achievement. Additionally, in Tobago, the 24/7 water supply is now 69%, and another notable increase from the 35% inherited in July 2010. Significant increase. And I am advised by the management of the Water and Sewage Authority that by August of this year, Tobago would have achieved water for all 24/7 in Tobago.
Minister Singh assures there is an intention to ensure that everyone throughout both islands receive a 24/7 supply of water. He reveals that plans are already in place to reduce the water deficit through increased wastewater reuse and the drilling of more aquifers. The Brickfield Recreation Ground in Couva has been fully outfitted with night lights. This was done through the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission's illumination program. Speaking at the formal reopening of the ground, Chairman of the Couva Tabakit Talpara Regional Corporation, Henry Awong, states that he hopes the refurbished facility would bring both light and life to the community.
The goal of the ceremony is not just to commission new lights for the local community of Brickfield, but to bring light and life to the people who live here. We hope that the introduction of lights here will foster a community spirit never before seen among residents in the vicinity of this recreation grounds. The encouragement of our youth involvement in constructive activities, community nightlife to build healthier lifestyles and stronger family ties, which will discourage idle hands.
Chairman Awang urged council and neighborhood groups in the Brickfield community to ensure the recreation ground was fully utilized, especially in the evening periods, as this facility was now available. Emphasizing that there are 103 recreational grounds in the Couva Tabakit Talpara Regional Corporation, Mr. Wong stated that these facilities were of such great importance to the corporation that there were policy positions on them. Also addressing the small gathering was Ms. Cecilia Ramkisoon Mark, Chairman of the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission, TNTEC. Ms. Ramkisoon Mark said TNTEC was happy to give support to its customers in Couva. She stated that through this program, TNTEC was not only supporting community and youth development, but also healthy living. Meantime, Member of Parliament for Couva North, Ramona Ramdial, thanked TNTEC Line Minister, the Honourable Nizam Baksh, the Minister of Public Utilities for his assistance in getting the project to completion. While addressing the lighting ceremony, Minister Nizam Baksh spoke of the importance of living an active life.
Approximately 3.2 million people die each year because they are not active enough. Let us all take note of this. But how can inactivity kill us? Medical experts tell us that lack of regular exercise, coupled with the sedentary activities that make up most of modern day living, take a toll on our bodies. Obesity and non-communicable diseases that accompany it greatly reduce both the quality and the length of people's life across the globe.
Felicia Wilson, More News 4.
We'll be right back with more news after this. National Security Minister Senator the Honorable Gary Griffith is reiterating the importance of secondary crime prevention. He emphasizes this while recently addressing the Parliament and makes special reference to the Hoop of Life basketball program. Answering questions posed in the Senate, Minister Griffith says secondary crime prevention programs are an important tool in crime fighting and crime prevention. Speaking specifically about the Hoop of Life program, Minister Griffith says while it has cost an estimated $36 million to date, the effects of the game extend beyond the basketball court.
The importance of the Hoop of Life is not just so much about a basketball tournament. What we are looking at is, yes, there are 4 quarters of 12 minutes each. What we are doing for the Hoop of Life, Mr. President, is not just the 48 minutes of a basketball field, but for the 49th minute and beyond. What goes on after those 48 minutes of a basketball field.
Minister Griffith says the program is being evaluated and efforts are being made to ensure improvements where necessary. The National Security Minister explains the improvements to the program will only serve to produce better citizens.
It's twofold. It's both with the Ministry of National Security and the Ministry of Sport for us to see what can be done to improve the productivity of the Hoop of Life basketball, to ensure that it's, as I said, not just for basketball, but what can be done to develop the individuals, because we do know the importance of secondary crime prevention. Secondary crime prevention, Mr. President, has to do with diverting energies from youth away from a life of crime and to utilize their energies in the right manner. And we see this as being such an avenue. But what we need to do is to look at what has been accomplished and what we can do to make it even better.
We take a short break and we'll be right back after this. Newhurst has presented its publication of biographical profiles of the 17 Trinidad and Tobago scientists honored at the 2012 Awards of Excellence in Science and Technology. The book was launched at the Hyatt Regency, where Dr. the Honorable Rupert Griffith, Minister of Science and Technology, delivered the feature address.
This is the 7th volume in a series that has highlighted the achievements of Caribbean scientists who have been outstanding in their fields, working either in the region or internationally.
The need to recognize and celebrate our leading scientists and document their accomplishment cannot be overemphasized, as this raises their visibility and signals to the wider community the importance of their contribution to Trinidad and Tobago and indeed the wider world.
Dr. Rupert Griffith says the publications in this series serve several purposes. As Trinidad and Tobago presses in towards development of a more diversified, knowledge-driven economy to ensure future competitiveness, greater human and infrastructural investment is needed to build capacity in science, technology, and innovation.
I am particularly pleased that the book can provide an opportunity for a convergence of students, researchers, educators, and people from all parts of Trinidad and Tobago and the region to nurture a fuller appreciation of science and technology sector and to build and preserve our scientific heritage.
Honoring our top scientists and recording their achievements, he adds, raises their visibility and signals to the wider community the importance of their contribution and the need to preserve and build on our scientific legacy.
The outstanding accomplishments of these former recipients of Newhurst Awards for Excellence in Science, Technology, and Innovation have made them permanent icons of excellence and brilliance. In showcasing their achievements and the indelible mark they have left on society, we pay tribute to all Caribbean scientists, engineers, and technologists. By celebrating a few, we truly wish to honor and inspire the whole.
Nehurst hopes that these books will be valued educational resource material for science students, especially, and sources of inspiration for them as they discover the great heights attained by our people and see their own potential reflected in these stories. Joseph Lopez, News 4.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I am Gregory McBurney. Thank you for joining us.